What's going on, everybody? This is Charles Boyette, and welcome to another edition of the Spotlight Sessions. And today, I have a very special friend of mine, somebody near and dear to my heart, Mr. Patrick Brooks out of Asheville, North Carolina. How are we doing today, Patrick?
Hey, Charles, I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I am doing great. Glad to have you on and spend a little bit of time with us. So, I just want to take a few minutes and get to know you a little bit. I mean, I know you pretty good, but let's let
Mhm.
the audience get to know you. So, I've got some incredibly hard hitting questions for you today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's dig in. All right. So I want everybody who's listening, all the thousands, if not millions of viewers across the world that'll be watching this video, right? I want to introduce you to everybody. So if you could give us about a 60-second overview, 90-second, whatever, on how you got here, why real estate. Yeah, let's start there. Why real estate?
Well, I joined real estate in 2016. That's when I got my license in July of 2016. And honestly, I joined it just to be able to help further along not only my life, but my family's life. Um, me and my wife had a baby about 2 years prior. And once we had her, I realized like I can't continue to go about life and working two full-time jobs just trying to make ends meet, and I was barely home at all. So really, real estate was a huge transition for me to be able to up my game, make a more impactful presence in the community, and really be able to help people. Um, and that's ultimately why I got into real estate.
I love hearing that, dude, because so many times I ask the question, why'd you get into real estate? You know what I hear all the time? I really like the freedom of setting my own schedule. I
Yeah.
mean, what, dude?
Yeah.
We're clearly working at different places.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that you actually got into the business because it was a path forward, a way to help people, a way to help the family. I love it. So what is it about working in real estate that is the most rewarding for you? I mean, what is it that what keeps you coming back every day?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with my clients. Ultimately, the lens that you see through life will dictate a lot. And so, I mean, you can be in real estate and you can have awesome clients, but if you look at it from a poor perspective, you're always going to have a poor outlook on it.
Very true.
So what keeps me going really is the clients, and just their impact on me, and then my ability to be able to help positively impact them as well.
That's awesome, man. Real estate does give us the opportunity to have that feel good story. Seeing that somebody, whether it be new family, a startup family, a downsizing family or individual, it is nice and rewarding to actually be able to play a role in what is a massive decision in people's lives. I, I,
Absolutely.
I know you've been working on a lot of things recently. You got a bunch of different career initiatives, some life initiatives, but I want to kind of hear about what you're proud of. What is a win, be it big or small, or something that you're just really excited about that you've been involved in or working towards over the past 12 months?
Yeah. So over the past, I would say actually 6 months, I've been steadily working towards getting my general contractor's license.
Okay.
I've been in real estate for almost a decade. And so moving into that time frame, you kind of get into a place where you just want more. And what better way to be able to offer a greater service than to be able to have the qualifications to be able to properly assess things for your clients, get them good connections as far as repair work and things like that for listings. And then on the backside for buyers, I mean, we run into it all the time with due diligence inspections and findings that you get through those inspections and how you deal with them. Is it a
Right.
big deal? Is it not a big deal? And having someone who has a license there to be able to help direct you will only make the process more smooth.
Yeah, I love that, man, because one of the biggest challenges I think, well, especially with first time home buyers and people entering, well, maybe not even first time home buyers. Let's say it's an issue all the time,
It's an issue.
but it is
Yeah.
an issue, right? But I love the way you just said that. It wasn't necessarily to squeeze every dollar out of every angle you could. It was to better advise your clients because we've seen it so many times, dude. People go into houses and they'll see a small issue, and because they're not really well versed on what that issue may really mean, they make it into this much bigger thing.
Mm.
I've seen carpet peeling. They're like, "Oh, God, that's going to cost $12,000." Not really, dude. Not really. But that is awesome. So, what's the total? How much longer do you have in that process before you actually are fully GC?
So much like real estate, it's self-paced. Well, I guess not the course, but like I sign up for an online course. I get access for a year. So I mean, I have 6 months left, but ideally I would like to get,
Yeah.
settled in and licensed by the new year.
I love it. I love it. Well, dude, that's around the corner. All right,
Right.
you better get to it. Better
It's
get
20 days for Christmas.
Well, all right, so you said a minute ago you've been in the business for about 10 years, and that's a long time, dude. Not everybody makes it that far, so congratulations first and foremost. But one of the crazy things, or what I love, is this industry is so filled with like ups and downs and opportunities to learn and lessons that you kind of look back and be like, if I'd have known that like 3 years ago, I'd been in good shape. So here's the $1 million question for you. What's a lesson that this industry has taught you over the last 10 years that you really wish you'd have learned in the first 30 days?
Whew,
That's a
that's
tough
a
one.
good one.
It's a good one.
Honestly, the biggest lesson that I've wished that I would have learned is on the financial side, put away a lot of your closings
Yeah.
because taxes do come and they come
Ah,
hard. And unfortunately, in my first couple years, I was not on track to be able to pay my taxes on time. I was behind on a lot of those things just because, you get big checks, and if you're not structuring your finances on the back end just like you would on the front end for your business, then you're kind of falling behind. So ultimately, that from the financial side, from the client side, I wish that I would have s- just taken a little bit more of. So I waited tables beforehand, and two full-time jobs at the Grand Bohemian for breakfast and lunch at the Red Stag Grill, and then also at Cedric's Tavern at the Biltmore.
okay.
And both of those were great higher end restaurant jobs that provided me access to people who obviously could afford it. And I wish I would have taken more time to implement um, my customer service with real estate
Mm,
from what I've learned through waiting tables. And ultimately, I discovered this whenever I read a book um, about the expectations when people go out to eat.
okay.
And ultimately, this book was about, customer service and always giving the best service. Um, and that really helped me revisit what I was doing and how I wanted to do it and what kind of impact I left with those clients.
Yeah, dude, I think that's huge. In fact, what you just said reminds me of actually there's a piece of content that the president, co-founder of our company, Aaron Noble, put out the other day about the rope swing. I think you saw that one also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what you just said there is like, I think experience matters. Whether it be in the house, whether it be in the process, whether it be in the transaction, like the experience matters. And through the years, dude, I have seen some really great agents that started their customer service journey in the restaurant business.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You get used to that sort of thing. So I think more agents would do well to try to pay attention to that in the beginning. Is what is the experience that your clientele receives with you?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
that's
just
it.
yeah, and the book was unreasonable or unreasonable hospitality.
Hmm,
Yeah, if you
okay,
haven't read it, it's a great book. But essentially, like the levels of service that you have with waiting tables. First you greet the table, you go over, what's on the menu, what's special, and then you bring, the drinks, and you look at appetizers, and you kind of go through these steps of what it looks like.
sure.
And ultimately, in real estate, I mean, it's no different. You're just breaking down, the process for people who haven't gone through it versus the people who have and experienced it already. And you're offering two levels of service there, but ultimately, you're just bringing your best to the table.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's it. I will definitely read that. She got me. I'm a book guy. If this isn't part of our agenda today, but I'm curious. Beyond that book, what's a book you've read in the past 12 months that you or not 12 months? What's a book you've read period that had some decent impact on you?
Principles by Ray Dalio is
Oh,
probably
dude, that's
like,
like that thick.
bro, yeah, it's a lot.
That is a book, dude. That is
There's
a
a lot of principles to
I
live
know.
by, Charles.
Yeah, well, I like listening to Ray on some of his podcasts and YouTubes and all that stuff. But that book, and then what's the other one that he released? It was I don't know, but it's another book like this thick. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with your spare time? Right? Let's write it today. I'm going to write a book. It's called the Encyclopedia. I'm just going to write this. It's like,
Yes.
gosh, that
Yeah.
long.
500 pages.
Anyways, but yeah. So okay. So principles. That's a good one. That's a lot of world principles, a lot of economic principles. I got to tell you though, if you listen to some of his pike or some of his YouTubes, he's got a pretty down the road a little bit, but he's got a pretty grim outlook of what's going on unless some pretty significant changes can happen in our world, not in our country or state, but in our world.
Yeah. You're talking about recent stuff that he's come out with?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he shoots it straight.
He does,
That's one
which
way to
is
put it.
refreshing and terrifying.
Yeah, all in one.
All right, dude. Well, we're going to get to the wrap this up here soon, but I'm curious. All right, so you've been with Energy for a few months now, and dude,
Yep.
I got to tell you, you came on like gangbusters. I think you closed like 4 or 5 transactions like out of the gate, right? So I
Yep,
mean,
in the first 2 months, yep.
you came on fire, dude, and so that's incredible. But has there been, and not to put you on the spot here, right? But has there been a moment since you've been at Energy that made you think, I feel like I'm in the right spot. I feel like I've found where I'm supposed to be. Is there anything, maybe not, but is there that we could share with the audience?
Yeah, so, I mean, if I'm being bleak here, we have talked a lot
Sure.
about different
For
firms
years.
for years. Yeah, we've been in communication about different things that you were doing and pursuing and, ideas that you had, and, naturally, you and I have always saw eye to
Of
eye on a
course.
lot of things. I mean, we've worked out together,
Yep.
we've shared, beers together,
That's
like,
right.
it's been a lot of fun getting to know you, and honestly, whenever you came to me with this and you broke it down and you told me the upside of being with this firm and what it could do for not only my business, but for me, um, I just instantly got on board. Energy is great. I love Aaron and Peter Noble. I think that they are fantastic people and leaders for the company. I think that the culture for even a cloud-based firm is fantastic. I mean, even if we don't have a home office here locally, we still are connecting and getting together and doing food drives for agents who
Yep.
are sick. Mario has a great vision board thing that he has set up for the team here in North and
Yeah.
South Carolina. So I'm really excited to be able to continue to dig into energy and see what else it has to uncover because, as you know, it's just beginning. And I feel like we look at EXP and Real and all these other cloud based firms, and you see the potential,
Right.
but when you have leadership in the right place, that potential just becomes so much greater.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we're as a startup company as one can possibly be, right? We're this is our first year out in out of the chute and in the game, but it is fun to be able to create. And I like what you said there. Like we have, I think one of the beautiful pieces that we have here is simply the time that we were founded. Right. There's a different set of tools than was available in 2009, right? A different set of processes and to be working with Peter and Aaron that were foundational at those 2 brands you just named and had over played a role, oversaw, helped them scale. When I joined this company, that was a big part of my decision. It wasn't a bell, it wasn't a whistle, it wasn't a split. It was people that have been in the trenches. I like to tell people it's like we don't have an idea, we have a blueprint, right? Because we've been there, done that, right? And so that is exciting. Um, so Peter and Aaron are great. They're really good to work with. And I think what I like most about it is where they're coming from. There is nothing wrong with what I'm about to say, but this hits different. Most brokerages were built exclusively to generate profit. Not a problem with it. I'm all good with that, right? But what's interesting is that this company was founded because of the experience they wanted to create first and foremost. And so, even going back to that rope swing story, when you hear about the origin stories and you hear about how the experience we're trying to bake that in at the very beginning, and also
Yes.
being, acknowledging the fact that we're still new, right? So where we're going to be in 24 months is different than where we stand right now. But just being here and knowing that the vision is around creating that collaboration, that community, that culture that I think really is the missing element in our industry right now, right? That connection and that feeling like we're a part of something bigger. This industry, especially over the past couple of years, does have a tendency to isolate you from your fellow realtor, right? It's easy to feel like you're on an island by yourself sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
So, one of the last questions I have for you. So, well, I guess you actually just kind of mentioned you answered it already. So, let's do this. What is a question? We're going to wrap this up as we get to the end of this. But if you, what's a piece of advice that you have for any agent at any brokerage that may be considering if they're in the right seat, right? Because changing brokerages, dude, it's a big thing, right? It is. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, and you got friends at certain places, and there's a lot that goes into deciding if you're going to change brands. But if you were talking to one of your friends out in the field and they said, Patrick, I'm really considering making a move, regardless where they're going, what's a piece of advice you would offer them?
Um, I would say that the firm is one piece, but having a mentor is the separate part of that piece that really brings it all together.
Sure.
And the thing I like about Energy is not only our state brokers are great and communicative with us and have classes and masterminds and workshops to be able to help make sure that we know how to use all the tools at hand, but ultimately a mentor will help teach you the way
Yeah.
and how to do things. It's just like training on any other job. You don't just get into real estate and start making a ton of money. You have to learn, obviously how to get clients and the process of the job and making sure that you're doing it well and being accurate with your work and consistent.
Yeah.
And Energy not only brings the leadership side and the culture side, but also that mentorship that we really need when we're first getting started off in the business.
Yeah, I agree. That was the other piece I was excited about. Peter and Aaron are great, right? They are what they are. But what I also really liked is really alluding to what you were saying, from our managing brokers to the leaders in all the other departments. Everybody has a really proven track record of elevating agents in this industry. And that was one of the things when you look at a brokerage, you're like, I'm thinking about joining, and they have zero agents and zero open states. It's
Hmm.
really the fundamentals that make you join, right? It's like, what are the
Absolutely.
belief systems that we're building on here? Because sadly, there was no track record. But I got to say, there it is really great. They have done a good job at assembling a. I'm going to take myself out of this category for a second, but they've done a good job at creating an all-star cast as far as leadership goes, and that's fun. That's different. So, anyways, well, Patrick, dude, I appreciate you spending some time with me. Let's do this. If there was an agent or a client, and consumer looking to buy, sell, an agent that's maybe interested in maybe why a little deeper on why you chose energy, what's the best way for people to find you out there?
Yeah, so I have a couple different ways that you can get in contact with me. I have a movement that I started recently, just because I've struggled with previous addictions in my past,
Hmm.
and so I started up a community called the Sober Broker.
Okay.
And the Sober Broker, you can find it as thesoberbroker.com. And that's a website that I write blogs, I have masterminds, I have coaching programs through there. And I've even recently started a school program through the Sober Broker. So that's in the works.
Nice.
But ultimately, I mean, you can, you know, get in contact with me via email, cell
You on
phone.
social?
I'm on social.
What's
Yeah.
the social handle? How can we
My
find you?
Instagram handle is Asheville Broker. Um, I've coined that one and I'm sticking to it.
Also, that's a good one,
Um,
dude.
and and I also my contracting business is PB&J's contracting.
PB&J.
PB&J's. Yep.
I love it.
It's awesome. And we got a nice like droopy PB&J sandwich for our logo. And I started that. The reason why we came up with that name actually is my buddy Joel Sawyer, who I sold a house to in Pisgah Forest. Him and I just became really close and really great friends. And he was working a desk job doing tech support for some medical company, and he was just burnt out. And him and I were talking about it, and we're like, what would you want to do? And really working with his hands is something that he wanted. So
Nice.
we're like, well, cool. Like I have, experience in that. I would like to get my GC and start that. So Patrick Brooks and Joel Sawyer, PB and J's
There it
contracting
is. All right.
is
I was like, do
what's
we like
been.
the sandwiches?
Oh, who doesn't like PB and J's?
I love them. So okay, there makes sense. I said the Patrick Brooks and Joel. Okay, got it. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So for those that are listening, if you need to look this gentleman up, Asheville Broker on Instagram, the social handles, or thesoberbroker.com if you want to learn more about that movement. Patrick, it's been a lot of fun, man. I enjoy you jumping on, spending a little bit of time with me this morning. I am going to paste you all over social media, so prepare yourself for that. Yeah, man, enjoyed it. So. Thank you for your time today. Any parting words you would like to share with the audience? Any words of wisdom?
Uh, Whatever you do, just stick to it and be consistent.
There it is. Stick to it. Be consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time on another Agent Spotlight session. I'm Charles Boyette, and for my good friend Patrick Brooks, we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Thanks, Charles.